Hello everyone, I am Vaishnavi J. Desai, Assistant Editor at ETCSO. Welcome to this webinar by ETCSO and Securite, Unlocking the Power of EDR. Over the course of the discussion, we will help you discover endpoint detection and response solutions, which are essential for modern cybersecurity. I am joined by an esteemed speaker, Saurav Biswas, who is the Senior Director of Product Management at Securite. Saurav Biswas comes with more than 20 years of experience in building cybersecurity products, and he is the brain behind Securite's EDR and XDR solution, which promises an all-round protection against today's sophisticated threats. Welcome, Saurav. We are glad to have you on board.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes. The modern cybersecurity landscape is constantly evolving, and security leaders therefore need clearer visibility and advanced response capabilities to keep up. In this session, we will dive into endpoint detection and response solutions, which are essential for modern cybersecurity. Saurav will also help explore their core principles and functionalities, highlighting how they boost threat visibility and response capabilities while overcoming the limitations of traditional methods. Meanwhile, we will also discuss strategies for utilizing EDR to enhance threat hunting, incident response, and overall security posture, which will then ensure organizations are well equipped to defend against evolving cyber threats. There will be best practices discussed for integrating EDR into your existing security infrastructure, and Saurav will support and substantiate it with real-world examples to showcase EDR's effectiveness in detecting and mitigating advanced threats. We will take audience questions, and I would request the audience to leave your questions in the chat box, and we will address them at the end of the session. Before we begin, we will display poll questions, and we would appreciate your responses on it. Can we have the poll questions, please? Team, can we have the poll questions, please? Do you feel that standalone antivirus solutions are insufficient in proactively preventing advanced cyber threats such as zero-day attacks, APT, and inside threats? We'll have 10 seconds for the audience to vote. I repeat, do you feel that standalone antivirus solutions are insufficient? Can we have the next poll questions, please? Oh, here's the response. 75% have voted yes, and 25% have voted no. Well, wonderful. Can we have the second poll question? Can your current endpoint protection tool prevent attacks at every stage? Oh, 42% say yes, and 58% say no. Well, that's an insight, Saurav, for you before you begin the presentation. Perfect. So now I invite Saurav to begin his session. Saurav, we are waiting with bated breath to hear more about Securite's endpoint detection and response. I leave the stage to you.
Thank you, Vaishnavi. So I will just put up my slide. So today's topic of discussion is modernizing your enterprise endpoint protection with Securite EDR, right? And I'm glad to see from the answers from the poll questions that a majority of you at least believe that your your current set of endpoint protection systems are not able to cover every attack surface, or is not able to comprehensively cover your endpoints from threats and targeted attacks. So that's a good start, and we're going to delve deeper into that specific answer as we go and proceed with this webinar. Before I start on the actual topic, I wanted to give you a glimpse of the organization, the company itself, which is Quick Heal. And Securite is the enterprise arm of Quick Heal, where which I represent. So Quick Heal has been a pioneer of cybersecurity in India. So they have been around for 3 decades now. Okay, and they are the first listed cybersecurity company in India. They are the market leaders in India, and we in Securite, we own the largest malware lab in the country. Did you know that? I mean, we have the largest malware lab probably in Asia, and we are going to talk more about it during the presentation. We are protecting 9 million active endpoints from threats. Securite as a company has been granted 8 patents. Quick Heal and Securite have been granted 8 patents and We are present in 76 plus countries, 1,000 plus cybersecurity professionals, proud partners of many government organizations, include ISRO, and also that's Indian government, and also internationally we collaborate with US government through NIST, and we have been recognized by various awards and certifications in both national and international arenas. So a organization with a rich history, a proud history, and a lot of experience in cybersecurity. So we have been talking about technology and cybersecurity, and that's maybe something that you would already have known. But one of the lesser known facts about this organization is that we are also equally involved in in giving back to the environment and social governance. This initiative stands on three basic pillars: giving back to nature, community and people, helping community and people, and ethics and governance. Our focus has been on giving back to nature, minimizing the carbon footprint, utilizing renewable energy sources as much as possible, and also as a end producer, we are also doing e-waste collections and e-waste recycling to help with the EPR responsibilities. So that's also our organization. Apart from that, we are also very much involved in the CSR, cyber awareness, and we are bringing cyber awareness to the youth and the adults of this country. We have covered a total of 70 plus institutions. We have conducted 1,000 plus street plays on cybersecurity and awareness. We have 2,500 volunteers working for us on these initiatives, and we have impacted 40 lakhs, 4 million lives through these programs, and we have covered 8 states in India geographically. We are also a leading global enterprise that we already know. We have our offices across 3 different geographical locations: India, US, UAE, and we have active user base in 76 countries. So not just India, we are across the world. We have 34 offices in India, 30,000 customers, 9 million active license users, as we have already stated. And so just reiterating that. So, it's a global enterprise. It's a global cybersecurity enterprise. We have won multiple international awards and certifications, including from AV Test, from certified by ISO, and also in India we have got awards from DSCI. This is a small subsection of our clientele, just to show various different organizations where our products have been deployed. And the industries, pretty much every industry, every vertical, we have presence. So when we are talking about cybersecurity, we know the cybersecurity in every different industry and every different vertical that is there. So whether it's construction, oil and gas, education, information, government, healthcare, telecom, banking, finance, technology, everywhere we have our presence. And as I had said before, we have multiple patents, 8 patents in various threat and ransomware detection technologies, certifications, ISO certifications, AV Test awards, and DSCI awards, just to reiterate these in this slide. Finally, look at our technology stack across our organization. So today we are going to concentrate on EDR specifically, but our organization, our technology organization, is closely aligned to the CSMA architecture of that has been proposed by Gartner. And we have products in all these segments. Either some of them have been already been productionalized and available in the market. Others are in various stages of development. So we have products in the devices space, the cloud space, networks space, and data privacy and identity. So all these spaces are covered, and we have a vision towards the CSMA, or fulfilling the CSMA architecture for an enterprise through our products. Just to reiterate here, so we're going to take the questions at the end of the session, but you're free to add your questions in the chat. So now, starting on the agenda, the key topic of the day. So what is security EDR, and do you really need to upgrade your endpoint protection that you may already have in your organizations to Securite EDR? So the burning issue that we are facing today is that advanced attacks are there to stay, and they are increasing every day. They are finding ways, advanced attackers are finding ways to infiltrate your defenses and take away your sensitive data, your all important data from your organization. So it's not just about disabling your enterprise endpoints, it's about stealing your data, stealing your IP. And that's the kind of, the dangerous attacks that are happening across the world, and also in India. In 2023, we witnessed a tremendous rise in cyber attacks, just after the COVID got over. We had nearly 25% of organizations in India reporting a breach. And that same increasing exponential trend in increasing attacks is continuing in 2024, and we have already had high visibility in the first half. We are still in the first half of 2024, and we have got high visibility attacks at Microsoft, at United Health, and a host of other important organizations. And one of the key criteria of these attacks is that they utilize zero-day exploits. And so zero-day exploits are exploits against unknown vulnerabilities. At this point of time, we don't know about the vulnerabilities in the various applications and softwares that are being used across every organization, and these attackers know about vulnerabilities and they exploit those and they infiltrate your organization. They use custom coded malware, so never seen before code. So a signature would not be able to detect these malware. Signatures are usually created on files, MD5, etc. But these custom coded malwares can easily bypass such protection technologies. Additionally, one of the key characteristics of these advanced attacks is not just a flash in the pan. It happens over time. There is an entry where some specific vulnerability is exploited, and an attacker enters a particular organization through an endpoint, low priority, not well protected endpoint. And then from there, it starts moving around, finding higher value targets, infiltrating further, performing lateral movement, etc. However, throughout this process, they have to remain undetected. And so they use very low footprint to stay in the organization. They don't touch a lot of files. They don't do, general scans across your organizations. They will just probably do very lazy scans kind of over a period of time. So, a recent study, for example, found out that these advanced attacking malware, or these advanced attackers, remain in organizations for up to, an average of 9 months before they are actually discovered. So that's a long time, right? And for targeting, for finding this. Then they also use these stealth tactics. They try to hide. They try to find ways to remain out of sight of all these malware detection technology that are around. So they will cover their footprints. They will, delete their logs, delete line items of their logs, and remain in the organization and pretty much do whatever they want. Another key statistics that we find is that increasingly these cyber attackers are targeting smaller organizations. Earlier, attackers would target large organizations, and because the payout was higher in these larger organizations. But more recently, we find that attackers are targeting these smaller organizations, and they are able to find, obviously they're finding a lot of value in these small organizations. By targeting the smaller organizations, they're able to achieve, they are also a business. In a way, cyber attackers are running a cyber attack business, and so they are making money by targeting small organizations as well. Another very disturbing angle is that the overall global political environment is highly unstable at this point of time, and there are numerous war fronts, instability that is there in various different states, and that is causing a lot of targeted attacks on national infrastructure or national critical infrastructure, and it's really reached peak levels with different factions of organizations in various countries, state funded in many cases, attacking organizations and trying to destabilize the businesses and the environment in different countries. So that's another very alarming kind of a trend that we see today. So that's the issue that we face. A quick look at the attack itself, the attack pattern itself. So an advanced attack, attacks are of different types. Cyber attacks, they're the easier to detect attacks, which are evasive malware. Some of the malware that is already identified. So your current security tools will be able to detect those. And 99% of attacks would be those. You will see some recon happening, some script kiddie trying to, show off their capabilities in breaching or not breaching, in basically targeting different endpoints, and that keeps on happening, and your current malware prevention tools are able to stop that 99% of the time. But there is that 1%, which is the hardest to detect and the most damaging. These are the targeted attacks and the insider attacks. And these cannot be detected by your normal detection technologies, which are pretty much statically defined. So they require advanced historical analytics, behavior analytics on data in order to uncover these. And so that's where we are going to focus here. So let's come back to we talked about the different attacks. Now, the solution is our Securite and EDR, or the Endpoint Detection and Response products. So here, what is the EDR? So Securite EDR and any other EDR, in fact, uses advanced techniques to detect unusual activity at endpoints via behavioral cues. And once the attack is detected and confirmed, it will swiftly remediate the threat. So one of the important aspects that we see is that it's about detection and response. We are not talking about prevention in one go. We are not talking about blocking. It's about detection and response. And it is the whole concept of EDR is based on behavior. So what endpoint detection and response products do is they concentrate on the behavior that is demonstrated as different users and different processes at the endpoints carry out activities, and any unusual activity is detected, and then a response triggers and takes care and basically remediates that particular attack that is happening. A very key aspect of all EDRs is that it is modeled around the MITRE TTP rules and other researched attack techniques. So MITRE TTP, MITRE is an organization, a global, a US-based organization, which has collected all the different tactics, techniques, and procedures. The TTP stands for tactics, techniques, and procedures across the world, which have been used by various cyber attacker organizations or the APTR players that are there. So they have been collected together, and all the techniques have been converted into kind of behavioral rules. And these are the ones that have been modeled within SecureRite EDR as well. And those behavior rules are then tracked within SecureRite EDR. And not just the TTPs, our research organization, as we had mentioned about the security labs, SecureRite Labs, that research organization also finds new TTPs all the time. And those TTPs are also added to our whole attack model. And as more attacks are seen or more vulnerabilities are found, these rules get added to the system and are able to protect or detect these threats more comprehensively. One important aspect of, we talked about the rules, but what does it work on? It works on a complete visibility over the organization's hardware, operating system, connections, and applications. So when we are talking about the endpoints, every aspect of the endpoint is made visible. And all this visibility is centralized and correlated together. And so it's a much more powerful capability that EDR brings as an organization-wide visibility into very granular levels of activity that happens on an organization in the organization endpoints. And that is important and was not possible with your current protection technologies. Another aspect is that EDRs provide crucial context, which is missing, or basically, when a particular attack is seen, more context is added to the attack so that an analyst who is responding to this attack alert can take well-informed actions. For example, threat intelligence from various third-party sources are utilized to enrich the alert information so that the analyst is aware of what is to be done and how to respond to a particular attack. And these are the ways in which SecureRite EDR is superior to your current endpoint protection tools that are already that may already be there in your organization. As we proceed further, I wanted to take a quick look at the differences between the antivirus, which was the older technology that most organizations used to deploy, and the newer age endpoint detection and response tool, right? So the antivirus, which is the AV, it is able to block known attacks or known behavior anomalies before it executes on the endpoint. So everything is known. It has to be known. Either the signature is known, or basically the file that has been used has a particular MD5 that has to be known, or it has a URL that is to be known to have been used in a previous attack, or it could be a particular behavior that is pretty typical of a particular attack pattern or an attack organization. And that can be codified and added as a signature to an antivirus. But that's where its boundary lies. An EDR is all about behavior. There is nothing known, or there is no concrete known attack signature that is used. So we are talking about a behavior pattern. Someone, dropped a file, and then from that file they tried to, programmatically do a remote session on another, another computer, another laptop. So a specific set of a chain of alert patterns are codified, but is recognized at runtime. It could be any process, it could be any set of processes doing this, but this pattern is recognized by EDR, and they are correlated together and is detected as an anomaly and alerted on. So that's how an EDR differs from an AV in the detection. As a response, an AV will always show you a list of blocked attacks. So they will say, they just provide a list of, okay, we block this with this signature, this blocked this particular file, or this URL, or this network connection was blocked. And you just see a set of, list of blocked processes, etc. Whereas an EDR shows much more information and context. So it will show you what is the attack, where did it start, what was the, what was the initial process, what was the initial payload that was, that was dropped onto a particular endpoint, where did it go from there. So all that context is basically added to this EDR workbench, and an analyst will be then able to investigate and go deeper and further to analyze and, to find out, what's going on. So a lot more context than AV. AV is always about real-time detection, real-time remediation, or at most real-time alerting. Yep. So mostly it will block, but sometimes when it is not able to block, it will alert, and that's where its responsibility ends. EDR is not absolutely real-time. It's near real-time. So it does not block. It allows the process to actually execute for a few seconds to see what is its behavior. And then it takes action. Where possible, it takes action. It could be a few seconds, or it could be more time. I mean, depending on the type of attack, if it's an advanced attack, it can take a few hours or a few days to collect all that information to basically confirm that an attack is happening or is in progress, and then generate the alert. So it's not necessarily real time or near real time. It can also be, it can progress. It can be progressively disclosed. An attack can be progressively disclosed, and the whole information is basically provided to you. As I said before, AV detects threats via signatures and behavior anomalies, but also behavior anomalies. A very few rare cases of behavior anomalies are also there in the AV. EDR is all about behavior anomalies. I had said that before. And it does the behavior. And one important point here is that AV detects on currently executing process. So everything that is happening on the endpoint currently, that's the only information that it utilizes for its detection. EDR can detect on current behavior anomalies, and it can detect also, it can also look at historical activity and then confirm that an alert has happened. So it collects historical data, stores historical data, and the analysis that is run as and when an event is occurring is based on not just that particular event at the current time, but also the historical state of the system as it, as the attack is revealed. One other important point is that AV is always single endpoint centric. So an attack happens on one endpoint, that's all the information that it has, and it says whether it's an attack or not. EDR, on the other hand, is centralized in nature. So it not just looks at events and attack alerts that are coming from one endpoint, but it can look across your enterprise, across multiple endpoints, and give the information about an attack. For example, a lateral movement attack, or a DDoS attack, or a multi-system compromise attack that is happening. For example, a ransomware kind of attack that is happening. So it can look at multiple systems and respond to multiple systems where the attack is happening, or even where the attack is not happening, it can protect those systems at near real time. So that's a key capability of EDR. It's basically has a complete view of the enterprise as it responds to attacks, or as it looks at it, as it detects and responds to these attacks. So now let's talk about how Securite EDR helps prevent attacks in your enterprise. So there are two phases of the EDR, how it works. One is the detection phase. The other is the response phase. During the detection phase, Securite EDR gathers very precise system telemetry data from all these endpoints, okay? And then it uses the sophisticated analytics and machine learning to detect threats, unusual behavior that is happening. And so it's all behavior based on TTP rules. And we have got 700 plus custom rules that have been added, TTP rules and custom rules that have been added to the system, which actually detects these unusual behavior on endpoints and are able to alert and take response action. So it also correlates alerts together, as I said before, and provides a view into the event chain. Where did it start? What are the processes were forked, or what are the processes were initiated by the parent process? That whole chain is visible. What did it do? What file did it download? Which URL did it access? What registry key did it change? So all that information is provided in a holistic view of the behavior. It also allows historical data search. 30 days of data is stored, 30 days of telemetry data is stored at the centrally from all endpoints, and any data that needs to be searched can be automatically searched by the system, or if a analyst would like to search the historical database about things that have happened in the past, about activities that have happened in the past, that can also be done. It could be any applications that have been initiated. It could be any particular URLs that have been accessed from the entire organization in the last 30 days. Any specific set of files that have been downloaded, etc. Everything is captured in this particular historical data. And finally, of course, in the detection phase, once it looks and finds some kind of attack pattern, it basically confirms that utilizing third-party threat intelligence automatically. So initially, it can come as a low alert saying that, okay, I saw something suspicious. But then all the attributes of these events that are happening, it will check against threat intelligence and see whether it has been seen anywhere else across the world. It has been used in some other attacks. And that actually confirms the particular attack happening. And then, that basically becomes a high priority or high severity attack detection, right? And importantly, the confirmation happens on historical data as well. So some new information that has come out, some new threat intelligence that has come of a process, that is also checked in your historical data. And so that confirmation takes care of historical data as well. So that's on the detection side. When we look at the response side, his EDR, security EDR specifically, does automated real-time response. So it's automated. First of all, it can be automated. Of course, there's a manual response also available, but automated response is also available, and it's real time, and that is used to stop the attackers even before it can proceed further. So as soon as something unusual is seen, at real time, a response is triggered. By real time, I would mean near real time, a few seconds. And that whether it's an isolation of the endpoint or a killing of the process or a quarantining a file, whatever it is, blocking a network connection. So all that actions can be taken to contain the attack. Another aspect of the response is that it is not just a single response that happens. It's not one response, but it can be an orchestrated set of response. Kill the process, quarantine the file, isolate the endpoint, send a message alerting the analyst about an attack in progress. So that whole orchestrated set of actions is also available to take care of complex attacks. So this orchestrated automated response is also available. Another key aspect of security EDR is that it can also take offline response. Say, for example, by any chance, the endpoint is not centrally connected to the server or the central EDR server where it's sending the telemetry data, but even in an offline alert, unusual behavior situation, that can also be responded to, and the attack can be stopped even when the endpoint is offline. Also, in the response, so we have been talking about automated response, real-time response, automated orchestrated response, and also offline response on the endpoint. But apart from that, there's also the investigation workbench, which does the systematic response that is manual in nature. So the analyst will use the investigative workbench to go deeper into the alerts and attacks. So it's not necessary that the automated response is taken in all cases. So when an attack is known to be or well-defined or is known to be critical, then the automated response is taken, and which is the case for a majority of the attacks, but of the attack alerts that are seen. But in cases where the alerts cannot be automatically responded to, those alerts are sent to the those are available in the workbench, and an analyst can look at the alerts, look at the patterns, chains, and perform investigation and take their judgment, take an action based on their judgment. Follow-up responses, comprehensive remediation. So all that is also available through a very well-defined incident management system that Securite EDR has as an integrated solution. So incident management is part of the solution as well. So that's on the Securite EDR and how it can prevent the advanced cyber attack. Now, a quick look at the key features that are provided by Securite EDR. First of all, there is a dashboard for comprehensive assessment. So a CISO or SOC manager, for example, they need to assess the environment. So Securite EDR has a very comprehensive dashboard with all the incident matrices around top incidents, the mean time to detect the incidents, the affected endpoints, the false positive rates, etc. So all that is basically available as different charts on the dashboard. Alert matrices, like all the MITRE TTPs, so the MITRE has different names for the TTPs and the tactics based on which there's a kill chain or attack chain of activities. So where exactly it happened, so there are the different names that are given. So all that metrics of what all attacks are being seen and what are the tactics and techniques that are being used in the environment, so that metrics is available on the dashboard. The alerts over time, so whether the alerts are increasing, decreasing, etc. So alert matrices are available. And also the dashboard provides the capability of exporting and scheduling this report so that you don't have to be glued to your screen, or basically the SOC manager or the CISO can get these reports in their emails, and they basically need to just look over it when required at a particular scheduling intervals. And of course, from the dashboard itself, when while the analyst or while the CISO is looking at a particular metric, they can also drill down into any unusual pattern that they are seeing, or anything that they want to investigate further, such as an incident or an alert that they're seeing. So they can drill down into it and look into more details about that incident in the investigative workbench from the dashboard. A look at the MITRE analytics and real-time detection and response. So a key or the core capability of the Securite EDR is a very strong analytics engine which runs on system rules. So there are custom rules and system rules. Custom rules can be written by the organizational, the customers itself. System rules are supplied by our security labs team, and these custom and system rules together form a very a large set of IPs that is utilized for detecting these attacks. There is a rule builder which allows a user to create an advanced user to create custom rules, and there are many attributes, 50 plus attributes that are available in the rule builder, which can be utilized to write these rules about any particular information or any particular behavior that needs to be tracked, and this can be used to create these custom rules. Additionally, machine learning and rules-driven alert generation both go hand in hand. So we have an ML module that uses machine learning to basically detect unusual behaviors, things that is possibly benign in a particular situation but is not in another situation, can be detected by this ML module, and alerts are generated based on that. And there is also the rules-driven alerts, and there is also the capability of whitelisting, which is also very important in an EDR kind of tool. EDR type of tool is, I would say, more permissive in nature than an AV tool. So whitelisting is a key stage of the attack response, where in case there are a few alerts that are false positive in nature, those can be whitelisted so that they're not seen again, and that tightens the detection and response for a particular organization. So that's provided in EDR as well. And finally, the playbook and policy based automated response is also available. So orchestrated automated response is available from EDR. The real-time response capabilities are taken care of by the action policies, which is a very unique feature of Securite EDR. So these action policies can take real-time and offline response on the endpoint. So we have this set of rules that are happening centrally, which are basically looking at events centrally and taking actions or creating incidents. But there is also a set of action policies that are acting on the endpoints and taking action autonomously. So it's a two-layer defense, and that is very unique about Securite EDR. And this action policies are very granular. So there are scope definitions where you can define, segregate your endpoints into multiple scopes of importance. So a CISO's laptop could be a scope, or an exec's executive laptop is a particular scope, or it could be a developer's laptop. So different scope definitions of the laptop of the endpoints are possible, and then a risk-based auto response will be taken based on the scope and the policy, a combination of the scope and the policy. And there can be generic policies which are supplied by the labs team, so nothing has to be done by the organization, or there can be custom policies that the organization can create for taking automated response. So these are policy profiles are where the policies are created, and then the custom policies are basically what is created and stored per tenant or per organization. So that's one set of features. And then we have the investigative workbench, where we have been talking about the investigation part, but the workbench is where the incident is seen, where multiple alerts are basically they are correlated together. So multiple alerts from either the same endpoint or from different endpoints. For example, in a lateral movement case, we would see alerts from two endpoints that are correlated together, and or maybe from an email case where we have a email alert from O365, and then if we see a file that has been downloaded as well. So that kind of alerts are correlated together, and we see them together in the investigative workbench. Then we can drill down into the events and attribute details in the investigative workbench, and find more information about those particular incidents that have happened, the alerts that are part of the incident, and the severity of the incidents, the attributes of those particular events. And then there is the instant query for fetching detailed information. So this is a feature where let's say you do not have all the information about an endpoint, and you want to know, okay, what are the other processes that are running on that endpoint right now? So you can basically do an instant query to the endpoint to fetch all the processes from that endpoint, or maybe what are the services that are running on that endpoint, so you can get that information back as well. So that gives you all the information apart from the historically stored information about the alerts and events that are happening. Instant query will get you the immediate information from the endpoints as well, and it's obviously more verbose in nature. And then there's the whitelisting and response capabilities we already talked about. So from the investigative workbench, you can perform response activity, the manual response. So we have talked about the automated response, but the manual response can be taken from the investigative workbench. And finally, and of course, the whitelisting as well. Then there is the incident management module. So Securite EDR provides its own incident management module. So you don't have to basically pay for another incident management module. So this incident management is basically sometimes also called the case management. So incident, it gives you the incident list, and it allows analyst assignments. So you can assign the incidents that have been created in the environment to analysts, and then there is multi-stage tracking of those particular incidents from newly created to in the investigative stage, or the response stage, or the closure. So all these stages are tracked through incident, and they have their own SLAs. So those are also basically depicted. So these different stages. So it brings process orientation in the incident response. And of course, while responding to the incident, if the analyst wants to add more information, notes, maybe some specific files, screen capture, etc., so those can also be done from the incident management module. And of course, the incident management, because of these different stages of the incident that is included in the incident lifecycle, the incident matrices like mean time to detect, mean time to respond, mean time to remediate, etc. So those can also be tracked by the organization, and all their processes around incident management can be improved over time. And then there is the threat hunting. So as I said before, 30 days of stored data available, all the telemetry that has happened in the last 30 days in the environment, that can be searched, and very detailed information can be found about anything that has been seen. Like, for example, if some URL, google.com, maybe somebody wants to search how many people in the organization search for google.com, or basically, or went to google.com in the organization. And that kind of information is also available, and that particular report can be downloaded and seen in other tools as well. And then there is the threat intel based search over stored telemetry data is also available. So Securite EDR can gather it. It has its own tip, third part, threat intelligence platform, where it gathers threat intelligence from multiple sources. If a particular organization wants to add their own source, that can also be added to that particular threat intelligence platform. And that very latest cutting edge, or basically the everyday threat intelligence that is found, is basically looked at across your historical data. And so all these 0 days can be identified, whether it happened 30 days ago or whether it happened today. With the latest threat intelligence, you can look it up and basically find this information or find these attacks. So that's the comprehensive set of features that Securite EDR provides. Now, so why choose Securite EDR? And the answers are various, but key points are that it enhances your security posture, obviously, because the EDR is protecting your endpoints very comprehensively and giving you visibility. It protects the sensitive data, the critical infrastructure from advanced attacks. It reduces the risk of data breaches as a corollary to the enhanced security posture. Obviously, the data breach is always or often accompanied by financial and reputational damage, and that can be prevented. Improve incident response efficiency, obviously by automating all these tasks, all these alert detections, incident analysis, and response. The efficiency is improved greatly. And reducing the downtime, and of course, minimizing the impact on the business operations. It enhances compliance. So EDR is, many regulations actually advocate EDR to be present, especially in banking organizations and government organizations, as well as enterprises. There is a compliance need that is served by EDR, and it helps businesses avoid these costly fines and penalties. And then it increases productivity. So this incident management module helps you to improve your processes around cybersecurity and cyber response over time, and so improve, and that improvement generates better time saving, allowing the security teams to focus on more strategic initiatives. And it protects organizational intellectual property from theft or unauthorized access. That's of course there. And finally, it helps in saving costs, because it is, streamlining incident response is one of the key areas of saving costs, and we have seen up to 50% reduction in incident response costs using Securite EDR. And then there is cost avoidance because of the breach avoidance and the downtime avoidance, which is also can be added as part of the cost computation for your Securite EDR tool. So that's an overall view of Securite EDR. A quick look at Securite Labs, because one of the key cornerstones of Securite EDR is the labs that is working day in and day out, finding these threats and releasing these rules and threat intelligence that is being utilized for protecting the organizations. So Security Labs is a huge organization. There are 150 plus engineers and researchers working over there. They are, of course, responsible for the effectiveness of all the security products, including our security EDR. And they're continuously working on evolving the security technologies and finding new ways of finding attacks happening across advanced attacks happening across the world, and tackling this emerging cyber threats. So it's always working 24/7 to protect the organizations. Every day, we are looking at about 1 million samples that are processed by security labs, and a total of 2 billion known files that have been looked at over time. 390 million classified, categorized URLs, and 500K new URLs are categorized every day. We take in 100 terabytes of data. We have, over time, and then every day, another 500 GB of new security telemetry data is added to security labs to basically churn. So that's basically our presentation on security EDR, and a quick touch up on the key cornerstones of security labs. That is part of the, I would say, a key component of the security EDR tool. So now we can open up to the questions. Vaishnavi, do you want to take over?
Yes, Saurabh, thank you so much for that insightful session. I'm sure it was enriching for the audience, and we will come to the questions. But before that, can we have the poll questions? Yes, team's done a fantastic job. They already put up the poll question. Is a more comprehensive cyber defense strategy that brings visibility across your network, endpoints, cloud, and email activities critical to securing your organization? The two options, yes or no. We will give it 10 seconds before we move to the next one. Is a more comprehensive cyber defense strategy critical to securing your organization? Can we have the results, please? Yes. Overwhelming majority, 97% says yes. Perfect. Let's go to the next poll question.
Yeah, it looks like it after the presentation it went up. Earlier it was 60% or so. Now it's 97%. So I think it has taken effect. Okay.
Will you upgrade your endpoint protection in 3 to 6 months? Within a span of 3 to 6 months, will you upgrade your endpoint protection? Couple of choices, yes or no. We'll give it 10 seconds. Saurabh, this is a watershed moment.
It is. Oh, well, yeah.
Perfect. Can we have the results, please? Yes.
Yeah.
57% say yes, yes. And that's the result. For you, Saurabh, there are a lot of questions. We will tackle them one by one. All right. I'll pose the question to you on behalf of the audience, and we will take them up. Is there a common agent for endpoint security and EDR? Asks Shiv Shankar.
Yes, it is a common. Endpoint protection, or AV, and endpoint protection EPS is our product that was available, and EDR is an add-on on top of it. But EDR is now the overall package, and EPS kind of comes below it, right? So when I say EDR, EPS is also part of that, and it's a common agent on the endpoint.
Perfect. Do you have microsegmentation product? Is what Shiv Shankar's next question is.
We do have ZT UA kind of products, user access. The network access product is, which is more closely associated to microsite segmentation, that is in development and will be released, I think, in a few months from now. That's going to release, so it is in development.
So do you have plans to manage EDR through your SOC for the customers?
We do have an MDR service. So a quick point out here is that we have two flavors of EDR. One is the on-premise EDR, which is, of course, a full-featured EDR. And there is a cloud EDR, so where the EDR service is provided from the cloud. Now, the EDR service that is provided from the cloud, that we also provide managed security on top of it. So if an organization wants to opt for managed response, so they can offer the MDR service that we provide.
Saurabh, is there a possibility to use NTP for time sync through your agents for all the endpoints?
I mean, that's not a EDR capability, so I'm not sure where you would use it. In threat detection and response, I guess it is not coming into the picture. So not necessarily an EDR capability that we're talking about.
Okay. So Shrikant asks how EDR, XDR, MDR can be synergized to get a foolproof solution for security.
Okay, good question. So, EDR has been there for a long time. It's an endpoint detection and response product. So it covers your endpoints. Now, that same concept about looking at closely at telemetry data and finding behavior, that got extended over time. And organizations, a pioneer was Palo Alto, they kind of came up with the concept that why not do it for network as well? Why not do it for email or cloud or identity? So that's when that particular concept got extended, and all these other these devices, equipment, they got added to the concept called XDR, which is extended detection and response. So that became part of this whole portfolio. So even Securai has an XDR product, which is on top of EDR. So at the topmost level, we have the XDR product. EDR is a component within it, and EPS is a component within EDR. That's kind of the portfolio that we have. Now, XDR can, of course, and if an organization has their own security personnel, incident responders, then they can utilize the XDR and work with it as they want. However, if they need advanced response capabilities, then they can go for the MDR service, which is a service that works on top of either EDR or XDR. So managed detection response is a service, and that is able to perform the response that is required for XDR when the manual response is required. Everything is not automated, right? Some of it is manual. So that can be taken care of by the MDR service.
Perfect. Okay, I will club questions because a lot of them are similar and paraphrase it for you. Can we integrate EDR in existing Securai console?
It is an integrated console right now. So yeah.
Anil has a question. Why does EDR use an on-premise solution rather than a cloud-based one?
So we have both. We have an on-premise as well as a cloud solution for EDR. Many organizations prefer to have on-prem because of whatever historical reasons, or it could be the criticality of the nature of information that they handle. So they have on-prem solutions. We have an EDR on-prem for that, or if the customer wants a cloud one, we will provide a cloud EDR.
Perfect. So there are two questions. One is, if it is EDR protected, if the infra is EDR protected, then do you have to do away with the antivirus tools? And is there no need of incident response team in that case?
So the first part, EDR has the AV as part of that SKU. So yes, so you don't need the antivirus tool anymore.
Okay.
With that. And the second part is, do you need a service? Again, it depends. So there is some amount of expertise that is required for working with EDR. And if the organization has that kind of expertise for manual response, in cases where manual response is required, then they don't need a managed service.
Yeah.
But if they want to opt for a more comprehensive protection, then a managed service would be deployed on top of EDR.
Do you have any forensic tools, Saurabh?
Forensic tools is a package that comes along with, it's not available in EDR as such.
But that's another package. Okay. Yeah. So Vamshi, that answers your question as well. And data localization in India for cloud-based EDR. I'm not really sure of the question, Shiv Shankar, but are you understanding it?
Yeah, so it is. So yes, our EDR is AWS hosted, but our center is in India, in Mumbai. So all the data is within India.
Perfect. All right. I think that answers Shiv Shankar's question. It was more on where does the data reside in that case. Perfect. Do you have in-memory process protection as part of your offerings?
Yes, we do.
All right. I think we've touched upon all the questions, and I know there are a couple of concerns and questions around the customer care as well and post sales support. If you can contact the team, they will be more than happy to answer your questions on that point and more on the EDR protection against all layers. So, Saurabh, thank you so much for taking the time out for the questions as well. And I would like to thank the audience for making this a very interactive session along with answering the poll questions. With this, we come to the end of the discussion. Thank you, Saurav and Securite team, for sharing your insights. Thank you, audience, for your time and the ETCSO team for facilitating it. See you soon. Till then, goodbye and have a great day ahead.
Thank you and goodbye. Yes.